Hey guys, this is your video for 3.06 daily practice. We're going to start with our investigation. You should have 4 equations on your paper. Let me fill them in. And your task is to decide which one does not belong with the others. So basically 3 of them are equivalent and 1 of them is not. So if we take a look, obviously we have one that has parentheses, but if we use our distributive property on this first one, we actually get 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times 3 is 12. So this first one is the same as the second one, or sorry, the third one. First and the third are the same. And then the fourth one, we just turn these 2 terms around. Since addition is commutative, that's okay. So these are also the same. That leaves me with this one is the different one that does not belong. For your explanation, they all have a 4x, right? So our coefficients are the same, but this one has a 12, this one has a 12, this one has a 3, but really it's a 3 times a 4, so it's also a 12. So 4x plus 3 does not belong because the constant is different. All right. Mr. Jenny John is not that great at math. So he actually says that, and again, I'm not sure why this is missing, but it's on your paper, the first 2 are the same since they both have a coefficient of 4. Do you agree? We just talked about this, so I want you to actually pause and write your explanation if you agree. Hopefully at this point you already wrote your explanation. In case you did not, let's start with our tape diagrams. For that first one, we have 4 groups of x plus 3. And our total is 9. So we can show that first equation in this tape diagram. For the second one, we have 4 x's and a 3. 4 x's, and our total is 9. So we can hopefully see in our tape diagram why these are different. Again, it's because in one of them the 3 repeats and in one of them the 3's all on its own. You should have your own explanation on here. That should be filled in. I'm not going to fill it in for you. All right, so for your key point, when we have equations with expressions like, and again, on your paper you have p x plus q and px plus q. These are different because visually we can see, well, one has parentheses, which means this is what we did yesterday. We have to divide the coefficient first. So whatever number is in that spot for p, we would divide that first. The other one, px plus q, still has a coefficient of p, but it also has a constant that's truly all by itself, constantly lonely. So only the p is repeating on that one. It's not attached to the q. So we're going to see an example now where it looks similar, but one is going to have parentheses and one doesn't. So on the left, we have Miss Williams buys 3 cups of coffee and 1 pastry. Overall, she spends $23, so that's going to be her total. If the pastry costs her $5 for the pastry, how much does 1 cup of coffee cost? So we know her total is $23. And we know that the pastry cost her $5. So I'm going to put this part for the pastry. And she did 3 cups of coffee. So I'm going to split this in 3 and give it a variable. So my equation here is 3x plus 5 equals 23. And we can solve this. First thing we would want to do here, we can't get rid of the 3 because, again, the 3 is only attached to the x. So here we have to get rid of the 5 first. And then we're left with 3x equals 18. Now we can divide by 3 and get x equals 6. All right, for the next one, Mr. Burke buys 3 gift boxes for his daughters. Each box starts with some barrettes, so there's something in there. But Mr. Burke adds 5 more before giving them to his girls. How many barrettes did the gift start with? And there's something missing here, you guys. He ends with 21 barrettes in each box. So 21 is going to be his total. I'm sorry I didn't put that on your packet. My bad. And we know he's got 3 gift boxes because he has 3 daughters, so split it into 3. And they start with something. We don't know what it is, but they start with something. And then he adds 5 more to each of them because he loves all his daughters equally. So here we have 3 groups, and in each group is x plus 5. Again, he gave the 5 to each of his daughters. His total is 21, so we're ready to solve. We're going to divide by this coefficient. Now we're saying, well, each of the boxes had 7 barrettes, but that was after he added the 5, so let's subtract that 5. And he started with 2. All right, you guys, so you've seen some examples. I think you're ready for some practice on your own. Go ahead and complete as much as you can, the homework, everything. Email your teachers if you have a question, and have fun doing your math.